so fetch.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Kaiya, and today I'm going to be reviewing Creeping Death and their live show. I recently got to go and see them here in OKC, Oklahoma City in the US of A. I'm going to be doing a show review. So without further ado, let's get started. Creeping Death is a death metal / hardcore band from Denton, Texas. They are signed with MNRK Heavy Records. Super excited to see this band live. They played June 30th in, like I said, OKC, at the same venue that Death Angel was at, which was 89th Street. I've already explained my thoughts for 89th Street. I think the venue itself is fine, but there's certain things I would change, but that's kind of beside the point. Anyway, Creeping Death I was really excited to see because they just recently released Boundless Domain, a brand new album. This is their second full-length album. It just came out June 16th of this year. The cover is awesome. It's this exact cover. And I was really excited. They independently released this, and Creeping Death's kind of been making some moves. They've been making some moves, and they are on tour with the main people, Saint Peeler, who is led by the brother of the lead singer for Creeping Death, and then also Year of the Knife. And if you don't know the backstory of Year of the Knife, I've got a community post on it. I did a short story of it in my metal stream earlier this week, so you can Google more in depth if you're interested. I was interested to see who they were going to replace Year of the Knife with, and especially so last minute. I mean, I knew they were gonna find somebody, but it's all about like, who are you going to find? And they did the best thing, which was get two local bands from OKC. They got Inside You and Caustic. So as far as the show goes, we did go a little bit later to the show this time because I was not in the mood. I'm gonna keep it real, okay? I was not in the mood to stand around for hours and hours on end, okay? Death Angel took something out of me, girl. That was standing for like 4 hours, and Death Angel, I left at like an hour and a half into Death Angel's show, okay? So I was not really in the mood to stand around for long periods of time, especially because, I kind of wanted to see some bigger bands. I really just wanted to see Creeping Death. That is who I really wanted to see. That's who I was most excited about. Now, about these two bands, I wasn't really able to find anything about Inside You. There's not really much social media or any links to their band. I did, however, find Caustic. Their Facebook page I will link down below. Now, what's interesting is I had originally thought that these two bands were added to the bill last minute, but they were not. There's another poster from the 16th, so this was like 4 days prior to the show, where they got added on to the bill last minute, and I thought that was really cool. So the original lineup would have been still with Year of the Knife, Caustic, Inside You, Saint Peeler, and Creeping Death. When we got there, Muja said that it was fine that we were obviously late. He said we didn't really miss that much. He said Caustic was really good and he enjoyed them, but Inside You was not his fave. He was not super impressed with them and thought they were totally fine to miss. Out of the two openers, I was honestly hoping to catch Caustic. I was hoping by the time that we actually got there that we would be able to see Caustic. I didn't know how long their sets were going to be, so am I a little bummed that I missed Caustic? Yes, but Muja said they were really good. He said Inside You was not really worth it and didn't blow him away, so it was totally fine that we did miss that band. Upon arrival, Saint Peeler were doing their sound checks on stage, as you saw in the footage. So while they were sound checking, we raided the merch table, hence why I got this little doohickey of a shirt. I'm trying to do more like tour date shirts, as some of y'all may know. So got the cool album cover, got the tour dates on the sleeves, and got, you know, more of their logo on this side. This is kind of what Aborted did with, actually it's exactly basically what Aborted did with their tees. I get distracted by the logos and the the artwork, the main artwork. That's what happened at the Cannibal Corpse concert. I got a dope vile freaking t-shirt at the Cannibal Corpse, long sleeves, but then I remembered, oh wait, it doesn't have the date. So obviously I got a Creeping Death tour shirt, and later Magpie got a St. Peeler cassette tape, which he eventually got signed by the bassist and lead singer of the band, which you see in the video. Now Magpie really enjoyed St. Peeler. I really enjoyed Creeping Death, but St. Peeler was pretty good. Now let's talk about the venue before we really get into the music. So this was a much different vibe than what we experienced at Death Angel. This was the most empty I had ever seen 89th Street. It was a massive 180 from Death Angel. There were barely anybody there. It was quite empty. Now they did draw a crowd, but I think what killed the crowd for this show was the fact that Creeping Death had also scheduled another show in just a few days after this one in Tulsa, which, if you don't know Oklahoma, you basically have the capital, which is OKC, which is where the show we went to was, and then Tulsa is like 2 hours away. So Stillwater's like in between both of them, and that's where I live. So you can kind of guess, like, okay, well, now you're kind of splitting the crowd. Like, I get it having two different shows in those locations, because 2 hours is not an easy commute, okay, bestie? But, you know, when you're having it back to back like that, it can affect your crowd appearance, if that makes sense. So it was pretty empty. There was definitely a lot more room to kind of spread out and just chill, and that's kind of the overall vibe of the entire show. It was super chill, and it just was a very pleasant vibe. You know, we had driven about an hour and some change to get to the venue, and after the whole chaos of Rayfest and Death Angel, I was very pleasantly surprised to see that it was just going to be this, you know, very intimate, chill metal show, as much as it can be, you know. So St. Peeler, they were pretty decent live. The vocals, you couldn't really hear at all. For some reason, the mix, especially where we were standing, was terrible. It was really, really bad. The guitarist, you know, St. Peeler was only 3 people. So the guitarist of the band was doing backup vocals, and you literally could not hear him at all. So it wasn't the greatest mix. But St. Peeler was pretty good. They had some great groove pockets, some great breakdowns. It wasn't the most high energy stage performance wise. They didn't really interact with the crowd too much, but it was a good warm up. You know, people were definitely familiar, I think, with St. Peeler, and they were really excited for Creeping Death. So there were some people that were starting to do this like weird flailing thing, and I'll get to this in a little bit. Which I have come to find out that this kind of mosh style flailing is something you definitely see more in like the hardcore punk scene in shows, which I had no idea. So pardon my ignorance, because girl, this is all new to me. So on to Creeping Death. Creeping Death was great live. Holy cow, were they so good live. Trey Pemberton, that's all I have to say. Trey Pemberton, Creeping Death, specifically Trey, if you're watching this, you are a star. Their guitarist is named Trey, that's why I'm saying that, and he is amazing. So this whole show, Trey stole the entire Creeping Death show. You ever see somebody perform and you're just like, I don't know why, but that person has star quality. They're going to go places. They have some energy about them that is like exactly what I said. Star quality. That's Trey. Honestly, he was the main guitarist, and you see him kind of doing his whole, like, what is it? Twirling thing that Corpse Grinder does, whiplash thing or whatever. I forget. Windmill. There you go. God. He's the one that's doing the windmill, dropping that guitar super low. It's almost at the frickin' ground. You can see it in the video. And he is just doing the windmill and doing his guitar down. And then later in the video, when he gets comfortable, he's twirling and kicking. And he just stole the entire show. He had absolutely the most amazing energy. He played that show like he was playing in front of like 50,000 people, and he owned the little pocket of the stage that he got. And that is how you freaking do it, because you could tell through the rest of the members of Creeping Death, and the same with St. Peeler, that because there wasn't a lot of people in the crowd and it was a little more chill vibes, that it kind of affected their energy level. And I've experienced this too as a performer myself. You know, when it's like, you're not really filling a room and stuff, you're like, okay, you got to try really hard to get the energy for the show. And sometimes it just doesn't work. And sometimes you're just like, okay, it's just a show. Let's perform and go home. So I feel like that was kind of the vibe for everybody else, except for Trey. I'm going to be real. Trey was there to play, and he was there to have fun. And, yeah, go for him. Just go for Trey. He's a literal star. He wore this, like, cut up vintage bolt thrower t-shirt, and he just looked so freaking cool. I don't even know how else to explain it, but that was absolutely the most memorable part. That and the flailing moshers. This was another thing I really liked, was you see it in the video, people just flailing their arms. I'm not even sure how to describe it, but there were several people that were like literally flailing, almost like they were like ambidextrous in their shoulders and stuff. And it was just like the strangest thing. And there was one dude next to us who, like, you know, would stand next to us and vibe and stuff. And then once it really got into it, he would step down into the stage area and just start flailing. And he would just run around and flail. And then there was one other little tiny woman who, like, was kicking, and she was doing like this. And she was doing it for like 2 whole minutes. I was like, damn, girl, that's a whole exercise. I was getting exhausted just watching these people. The show definitely felt more like hardcore punk than it really did metal, but that's to be expected considering Year of the Knife is considered more hardcore, even though they weren't there. And Creeping Death is kind of a crossover between death metal and hardcore, and you could definitely hear that in their sound. They still had great breakdowns and grooves and guitar solos and everything, and I liked it. Magpie did not like the singer's voice. He said his screams sounded a lot like the singer for Lamb of God, which for him personally was kind of a turnoff, which is why he preferred St. Peeler. I didn't hear that at first, and then as I started editing the video footage for the show, I was like, oh my gosh, I hear it. So whether or not that is a selling point for you, who knows? That just for him personally was kind of a meh discovery. Anyway, I rate St. Peeler a 6 out of 10 headbangers. Creeping Death gets an 8 out of 10 headbangers just for Trey Pemberton alone. Seriously, go see Creeping Death if you get a chance. Go and peep their latest record. It is called Boundless Domain. You know, let me know down below if you've seen Creeping Death live. What shows are you most excited about this year? Are you going into any festivals? What's the deal? What's on your radar? And let me know if you enjoy these types of videos, these show reviews. Yeah. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, you guys.